Welcome to Daily Life Connection, our video talk time together as we continue to explore who God is and how He operates and what difference that makes for how we live our lives, especially in these difficult times that we find ourselves going through. We begin a new month together today. I never dreamed when I began this on April 1st that we'd still be going here in May with these daily life connections. But as long as you folks continue to enjoy them and they're useful or meaningful to you, and as long as we are still in this self isolation time, I'll try and keep doing them. I don't think we're going to run out of exploring who God is anytime soon. You know, when we start searching for who God is and how He works, sometimes we get a surprise. He isn't always who we think He is. If we go looking in the book of Hosea, for example, we get a shock about who God is and how He operates. Little tiny book tucked in the Old Testament. We don't usually spend a lot of time there, but it's one of my favorite books, actually, and I just love the theme that's in here. So let me just briefly tell you the story from a modern perspective. The preacher married who? This is one of the craziest stories in the Bible. God tells the preacher to go down to the red light district in town and marry a prostitute. What? I mean, we can look at this prophetic book and think, oh, that's interesting. But if it was in our church and in our daily life, can you imagine if your pastor stood up Sunday and declared that? God has told me to go marry a hooker and bring her into the church family here? Well, perhaps we could be generous and think, "Wow, what a man of God! He's going to go rescue this poor woman and and save her from that life of prostitution. What a godly thing to do!" But the story doesn't stop there. What if, from time to time, she still goes back to the street corners, puts on a short skirt, paints up her face, and sells herself to any man with $10 in his pocket again and again? Sometimes she's in the front row on Sunday morning praising God, and by Sunday night she's back on the street corner downtown. How could you deal with that? What would we think of our pastor then if he keeps going back and paying off her pimp to bring her back into the church family? You go downtown on Monday night for a restaurant with your friends and they see the shocked look on your face, and when you see her standing on the street corner and they say, "What's the trouble?" and you say, that's our pastor's wife. Really? That's our pastor's wife. Yeah, he loves her. He'll be down here tonight looking for her. He'll buy her back from the pimp. He'll take her home again. He'll bring her back to church on Sunday morning. Wow. He keeps going to the flop houses, keep looking for her, no matter how many times she leaves him. And what is even more shocking about this story is God says, "That's a picture of me." What? Here's the point, I believe, of this whole story. Here is the point about who God is. He loves us still. He always will. He loves us still. He always will. There is nothing that you or I can do, no sin that we could commit that is so big and so horrid that he will ever turn his back on us. No matter how many times we mess up and fail at the same problem, the same way, never again am I going to fill in the blank. And then we do. The reality is, nothing will stop him from pursuing us and bringing us back into his gracious, loving, protective presence. Him binding himself to us. There is nothing so broken and black about who we are or what we choose to do that he will ever divorce us from himself. He just won't do it. He loves us still. He always will. You see, God is far more concerned about loving you and me than he is about his reputation. Isn't that amazing? Shocking. It's very, very good news for us in these bleak days when we are not sure if we have a God we can count on. What if we mess up so badly today? What if I ignore him so much today that he just kind of leaves me off on my own? No, no, no. He will always pursue us and love us and bind himself to us, keep us in the center of his protection, and give us his name. He will call us his. In Hosea chapter 14, as the book finishes, as the prophet finishes his sermon, he says, speaking of God, I will heal their disloyalty, and I will love them freely. I will love them freely, extravagantly, no cost involved. And I will love them freely in the sense that there is no limit to how many times we mess up. It will never come to the end of his love. He will freely love us. We can count on it. He loves us still. He always will. God bless. We'll talk again tomorrow.